still good morning, so sort of good mid-morning, everybody. This year is Lilu Nishmas, my father, Menachem ben Akiva, and Lilu Nishmas, Jeff Bell's father, and Harry Wolfman's brother. So Baruch Hashem, I've been speaking in public for the public. Brother, just brother. Thank you.
No,
and Ari's brother. Ari's brother. I've been speaking in public for many years, Baruch Hashem, but I must admit that this time I'm speaking with a lot of trepidation. I'm shaking in my pants, the last, because the topic I chose to talk about is something which may take you by surprise. Some people may think that this is maybe too deep, too high. Maybe these things are more Kabbalah-oriented, and therefore they shouldn't be discussed in public. So as a disclaimer, I will tell you, first of all, that the material for this year was not taken from any real hard Kabbalah sefer. First of all, for the simple reason that I don't understand it, and I'm not a Kabbalist. I'm not a Hollywood star, as you probably know, lahavdil, and I don't wear white gown and steeped in Kabbalah, lahavdil the other way. And unfortunately, I cannot turn your mashkanta bill into a frog. I'd love to, but listen, for enough money we can discuss later for the right price, maybe. But it's not my kind of thing. Although I'm well over 40, I'm not into Kabbalah. The sources, first of all, for this year are all very mainstream Sforim. The sources are Nefesh HaChaim. Somebody told me, this Hasidus. Nefesh HaChaim is anything but Hasidus. And Nefesh HaChaim is very standard sefer, the very, very basic Machshava Musar sefer. Some of these things actually were taken, and I have to give credits here for a sefer, modern day sefer called Aramimcha Elokai HaMelech by Rav Mandelbaum. Very good sefer, but very standard, run-of-the-mill sefer about Tefillah, Kavana, Musar, nothing too out there, airy-fairy. And basically, I think that's enough of an introduction, and I hope we'll enjoy to, go a little bit deeper into understanding things we do every day. Another introduction is that, first of all, the topic of this year are the four worlds. Our world is not only just one world, there are 4 or 5 worlds above us that are spiritual, and also the different parts of our Neshama. We have to get to know our Neshama. That term I've heard years ago, Naran Chai, the Nefesh, as I said, Leil Shabbos some time ago, there's no point of trying to translate the word Neshama to English. Yes, I know about the S-O-U-L word, but that's just whatever, useless. Soul, Gematria, useless. Basically, the Neshama has 5 parts, Nefesh, and then there's a higher part, Ruach, Neshama, Chai, Yechida. We'll try to understand what that means. And again, if you think this is too irrelevant or deep, or what does this guy want from my life in the middle of a night day at work, I'll ask you the following, possibly a little bit challenging questions about things that we do, or maybe we do not understand, things we do every day that have to do with this topic, which I'm going to present you with, Bezos Hashem. So first of all, wake up every morning, and one of the first things we say every morning is the bracha called Elokai Neshama. We thank Hashem for bringing the Neshama back to our bodies, okay? And it finishes off with the promise that Hashem will take it away and bring us the Neshama back. But let's try and understand what we're saying in that bracha. We say, Ato b'ro'aso, Ato yetzoto, Ato nefachto bi, v'ato meshamro b'kirbi. If I say it in English, I don't know about the art scroll, whatever, art scroll and I, or whatever. Yeah, but I don't know, b'ro'aso, yetzoto, it's all created. What do we mean when we say Ato b'ro'aso, Ato yetzarto? In English, as far as I know, they're both called creation. I'm sure they found some fancy word. But what's the difference between b'ro'aso, yetzarto, nefachto bi, you blew it in me? What's this whole business? Meshamro b'kirbi. We say this ganze story over there about the Neshama. What does it mean? We say it every day. What exactly do we mean? I mean, I know we're all groggy-eyed and we're not exactly all there when we say Elokai Neshama sometimes. Some of us say it in shul, some of us say it at home. But we have to understand, what do we say? What does it mean that the Neshama has all these parts? Bo, Yetzira, Nefachto, Meshamro. What's the story? Then we say Tohoira, that's before. We also say, we go to shul, and then we say, HaNeshama shebemoichi, Neshama in my brain. Really? Is the neshama in the brain? I thought the neshama is something absolutely spiritual. What do you mean? The neshama is inside your brain, inside this is called cerebral box or something like that? I don't know these terms yet. I think there's such a term. Is the neshama inside or skull? I thought neshama is spiritual. And moach is just logic. So why is the neshama should be moichi? And then we start davening, finally, Baruch Hashem, Be'ezras Hashem, and we have a very clear order of davening, that is, assuming we didn't come late to shul, in those happy days when we make it on time. So then we start with the brochas and korbanos, then we have Psukei de Zimra, then we say Shema with all its entourage, and then we have Shmoneh Esrei, and then we have other additions. Why that order? What does that order mean? And actually, in some Sidurim, mainly the Sephardi Sidurim, they write on the top, if you ever notice, or if you happen to be Sephardi, I think, yes, some of us are, is that they say, it says on top that on each part of Tefillah, it says that this part of Tefillah has to do with Olam of Atzilus, the end is Atzilus, Asiya, Bria, Yetzira, Atzilus. What are these things? Each part of davening, each section of davening is related to a certain world, spiritual world that exists here and now. And if the Sephardi Sidurim put it for every 10 years old to see, we might as well understand what it means. Another question, Mishnah Berurah. Who doesn't learn Mishnah Berurah? Mishnah Berurah, the most mainstream normal thing which every Jew should learn is Mishnah Berurah. Of course, Zog the Mishnah Berurah, I'm quoting, Nun Beis Aleph says Mishnah Berurah, L'chatchila ro l'beis hakneses b'ashkoma, shelo yitztarech ledaleg, says the Mishnah Berurah, please make it on time. You have a day off, make it on time. You have to work, make it on time. So you don't have to skip. To skip what? To skip Psukei de Zimra. Skipping Psukei de Zimra is an option. Yeah, you can say Baruch Shema, Ashrei, and Abba, but that's far from ideal, says the Mishnah Berurah. That's absolutely b'di'evad. That's absolutely plan B, C, D. Yeah, why? Because Kosva Solim Hamagid, the Malach, they learned with the Beis Yosef, he warned him, he should come early to shul, do not skip, even if later on, after Shabbos, you on your way to work in the train or something, on your way to Kollel, you will quickly, make it up for the other Zimra, all the halukas that you missed. That's not ideal. Why? Listen to the Mishnah Berurah's words. Whoever does that, he turns around, he messes up the tzinoros. The simple word, the simple translation of tzina is a pipe. I'm sure there's a fancy word, that's probably in the article of Mishnah Berurah that exists, but conduits. Oh, here, our loyal translator, the conduits, very nice, that's a nice word. So what kind of, pipes are we mixing up there? So when I learned it the first time, I was 8 years old, Kabbalah, you don't touch that. Okay, so now I'm 51, and I want to understand what this Mishnah Berurah say when he says that you're mixing up the tzinoros. When you mix up the order of davening, what does it mean? It's a Mishnah Berurah. This is not Priyat Chaim. This is not Zohar. This is a Mishnah Berurah. What's he talking about? Says the Nefesh HaChaim. Says the Nefesh HaChaim that the world, as we all know, is being created again and again and again, every second anew. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is creating the world every second anew, and that creation is not direct, which means obviously it's completely from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but the way that the creation is brought down to this world, and you were going, a little bit deep, and again, big disclaimer, I may be wrong here and there, I really do my best to look into this form as much as I could. If there are mistakes, please ask your local Orthodox Mekubal. So if any doubt, any question, any mistakes, again, big disclaimers here. Says the Nefesh HaChaim, I'm quoting, Mudas, it is known, Shalomas nishtalshelu ba'adroga. The Alamas go down gradually, they gradually go down from HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself all the way down to this world. Ba'adroga, gradually, mi madrega lemadrega. There are 5/4, and I'm saying it on purpose. There's a certain world which is we're not discussing even. There are 4 worlds, there are 4 realities. One of them is extremely, completely, absolutely spiritual, where only HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there and there's nothing there. That's called the Olam HaAtzilus. And the Chlokim, the Daled Chalukat Shoni Berech Ma'alosam. They're divided to 4 different divisions, except for other things that it talks about. The first world is called Olam HaAtzilus, the world which is up there. You can look at the chart, by the way. I'm sorry for the Hebrew. I'm sorry that my chart is written in this funny Middle Eastern language. I don't know why it's all Hebrew. Yeah, might as well be Swahili. But, try and manage with the Hebrew in the chart. And Atzilus, Olam HaAtzilus, is the upper world. We don't claim to understand it. And it's called Olam HaAyin. Ayin means no, there's nothing there. What do you mean there's nothing there? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there. Atheism. Elamai, we have no hasaga. We have no understanding in HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. It's a very, very lofty upper thing called Ayin, and it's called Olam HaAtzilus. What does the word Atzil mean in modern Hebrew? Atzil, noble. A noble person is Atzili. Also, gas Atzili is the gas like not oxygen, no, the one that goes up in the balloons. No, helium. Of course, my daughter's buy it every birthday. I should know it's for the helium balloons. Yeah, the Atzili means something that goes up there. El Atzili b'nei Yisrael l'sholoch hasyoda. There were Atzili b'nei Yisrael, people that were like the princes, noble people in Matan Torah. It's called Atzil. The word Atzil also has to do with the word Etzel. What does it mean Etzel? Lishkav etzlo liyosima. It doesn't exist in English, by the way. The word by is really Yiddish, right? I was told. Etzel means together, with. Etzel. Yeah? Ani ochel etzlecha. I am with you. Etzel means the world which is absolutely with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Nothing else is there. On the other hand, and this is again, I'm quoting here the Or Chaim also in this week's Parsha, Or Chaim this week's Parsha, and the Nefesh HaChaim, they say Atzil also has another meaning. Le'atzil, the Atzalta miruchacha, Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, La'atzil, you should give over from your spirit to the other 70 elderly, to the other 70 zkenim, La'atzil. And now we're coming to the most beautiful mashal. You say armpit in nice, fancy old Hebrew, you say Atzile Yodov. Atzile Yodov is the part over here. Look at my arm over here. Yeah, you don't have to, but you can. My arm with a jacket. And we have a body and we have an arm. If you go to these amusement parks, even in Israel, and you stick your arms through, this thing, I think they're coming to imitate something from old time America. Yeah, there's like this board and they're with holes. You can put your face in the hole and you can put your arms in the hole. That's what they used to do to the witches, I think, to stone them that way, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and you do it, that's in amusement parks. So imagine yourself, no, I don't do it anymore, don't I? So basically, if you put your arms through those two holes in the plank and nobody sees your body and the person has no idea about the human body, he would think that the arm is really an independent being. Yeah, imagine yourself hiding my body. The arm has its own independent koach, the only part of the body, except for maybe the leg. It's also Gemara in Shabbos. It's also Nefkamina La'alocha B'Ilchas Shabbos in Daf Gimel. I'm not going there now. The hand of the person seems to be independent, but obviously it's connected to the body. So to our like an arm. Yeah, that is also a mashal that I've seen. In other words, it looks as if the world is acting on its own. Unfortunately, some people don't even realize the existence of Hashem. But really, the world starts from Atzilus. You start from a place where HaKadosh Baruch Hu started to create the world and starts it every second in a reality called Atzilut, equivalent to you, the Atzil Yodov, the beginning of when things begin to separate. It's right by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but it's separating a little bit. The next world is called Bria. Bria is called Yesh Me'ayin. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created something from seemingly nothing, from no creation, just Hashem himself, the creator. He starts creating Bria. Bereshis Boro Elokim. Why Boro Elokim is the second word in the Torah? Bria is the first form of creation. Atzilus is where the creator is. Then you have the Bria, which is Yesh Me'ayin, something from nothing, ex nihilo. That is the Bria. The word Boro, by the way, also has to do with Bar. Not the beautiful bar we have over here, which is very nice. We all know that Bar in Aramaic means the son. Bar mitzvah, by us Orthodox people, doesn't mean a big bar, it means a son of mitzvah. Bar is a son. The son comes from the father. The son is the first thing that comes out, is a hemshech continuation, something that comes forward from the origin, which are the parents. Bar also means in old and modern Hebrew, Bar means outside. It's a first act of ad. Milgav umelabar. Bar also means wild in modern Hebrew, right? You know about that. Bar. No, bar is semach. Bar is a wild flower as opposed to a home flower, as opposed to a homegrown flower. Bar is when things begin to go out. But bara ya'ar, the word bria, and that I've also seen here, the bria, levare ya'ar, is a pasuk in Yeshua, which means to cut off, to sever. Why? Because we begin to form things in a very crude way. The things begin to form a little bit. That's bria. Bria is a very primal, beginning stage, early stage of creation, just like you take a big log of wood and you cut it. You didn't carve anything out of the wood. The next world is called Yetzira. One world below that, that's called Yesh Miyesh. There's already material. Like, by the way, it's not that these worlds are still spiritual and I have no idea what's going on over there. I'm just reading what I've seen in the Sfarim. So you have the world of Beria. The world of Beria is something, as I also have seen in the Orchaim and also in Ma'or Shemesh, which is just a parish of the Chumash. He says the worlds become thicker and thicker. At the beginning, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is all spiritual, and things begin to become Gashmi gradually. Like Malachim, which we do not see, are relatively Gashmi to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So things begin to form and become slowly and surely more and more physical until they get to our world. We're now in world number 3, by the way, in the elevator. We are in the olam called Yetzira. Yetzira is one below Bria. The olam of Yetzira is the world of, okay, I'll succumb to translating to English, creation, Yetzira. Yetzira, what does the word Yetzira remind you in Hebrew? Yetzar reminds me of Tzal. What's Tzal? Narrow. Tzura is a shape. Things are becoming to get into shape, into Tzura, and they're Tzal. They're narrower, they're more defined. They're not completely defined, but they're much more defined than before. Also, Yetzer. Yetzer is something that makes us move one way or another. If you have Yetzer Tov, you'll go to Shul. If you have Yetzer Hara, you'll go to Bitul Torah. The Yetzer is something that defines you and limits your actions one way or another, because it's Tsar and Meyutzar, something that's produced, something that's narrower. That is the third world. Now we have finally, boom, we've landed into an olam called Olam HaAsiya. Olam HaAsiya, again, I'm quoting from the Nefesh Chaim. He says, the Olam HaAsiya is Gemar Meleches Kol HaOlamot Shekadmu. Olam HaAsiya, everybody knows La'asot is to do, but that's not exactly, that's true. The word Asiya doesn't only mean to do. Asiya also means to do the final fixing, the Makeh Bepatish. The final touch is also called Asiya, and that has many ramifications. For example, in the Torah, remember the arm? Where's the arm? Remember this is Olam Atzilus? So what's the bottom part of my arm? The very, very, no, it's not the arm anymore, it's the hand, it's the fingers. What's the very, very bottom? The fingernails. Says the Torah about Eshes Sefas Torah, the Osto et Tzipornea. The lowest part, the Tzipornaim, the nails, she has to do her nails. Very common with women today. Whatever the fast Torah has to do is Machloket Rishonim, if she has to grow her nails or cut her nails. But everybody knows that a nail is the relatively less important part of the finger. You know, you can cut it and not have pain. There are no nerves there. The Osta Tzipornea means she has to do the final touches. La'asot, ve'imar lana la'asois oisoi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told the Nar, Avram told the Nar, Yishmael, to do. In other words, to do the final touch, the finishing touch on the meal, and that was la'asot, means the final touch. And now we understand what we say every Leil Shabbos. We say Asher bara Elokim la'asois. Bara Elokim, Hashem created something in the very, very upper world of Bria, just below Tzilus, la'asot. The final touch is our world. Our physical world is the world. Who's in charge of our world? Us. What we do in this world affects Alomas Elyonim. We have to make sure that this world, with all its shortcomings and all the Gashmias and all the Yetzer and everything, we are oseh. We have to fix it up. We have to do the final touch of the Gashmias, which is in a way, the least important part, and make it important by bringing it up to the upper worlds. I'm reading inside, Tikunam al tachlis atoid ha'amiti. You now, by acting in this world, you're metaken, you're fixing all the upper worlds. This is the lower world. That's where we live. We lead the world. We lead all other worlds. The maisim, all the fixing up, all the seemingly small deeds, the touch-ups that we do in this final world, in this very defined world This is what we're here for. There's a pasuk in Ishaya that a few of the Sforim mentioned. A few of them bring the pasuk in Ishaya Mem Gimel. It's also brought on in Shulchan Aruch somewhere. It says, "Kol hanikra b'shmi v'lechvoidi." Yeah, whoever is called by my name and is in there for my honor. Rashi in Ishaya says it's a tzaddikim. Brasiv yetzartiv af asisiv. Look, brativ yetzartiv and asitiv. Bria yetzira and asiya. Where's the atzilus that's above? That's kavod. The kavod Hashem is atzilus. Before we go into the tefillah and how all these lofty things, what do they have to do with our lives? We have to now talk about the equivalent of these four worlds in our very own neshama. We have to know, what do we have in there? What is this neshama that we have? So the neshama also has 5, although we're going to discuss 4 parts. The upper part of the neshama is something which is absolutely spiritual. It's way above our heads. As we say above our heads, if you think this is above your heads, the neshama is above your head. That neshama is called chaya. It's called the neshama of the neshama. Yeah? The chaya is the source of life of the neshama. There's a part of the neshama that is never affected by any sin, that is always pure, always up there. It is not even related to any body part. It's absolutely spiritual and it always will be. And every time you do a mitzvah, the mitzvah is affecting that part of the neshama which is up there. Then we have a thing called neshama. The neshama is a general name, and neshama is also the particular name. You can see it in the chart. It's over here. Yeah, the neshama. Look, here's the neshama. The neshama is the part of the neshama which is related to the moach. In other words, the moach is where the thought process is. When do we get our Yetzer Tov? When does the Yetzer Tov kick in? When 13 or 12, right? When we get das. The das, the knowledge, the neshama shebemoichi, doesn't mean the neshama is inside the brains. It means that a person with untainted brain, which doesn't have Yetzer Hara, and is acting by real logic, and real logic is Torah logic, is that he's relating to his neshama. The neshama is that pure part. It's not completely pure, it's already connected to the moach, but this part is already something to do with our everyday life, and it's a part that gives us good hashpah. It's not the Yetzer Tov exactly, it's something even above that. It's something from above. Then we have, now the neshama is equivalent to the bria. Bria is the neshama in the brains. Now the yetzira is below that, there is another part of the neshama called ruach. Ruach can be translated to English as spirit. Ruach means what? Also wind. Where does wind blow? Ruach has to do with our own wills, with our own ritzonos, with our motivations. In other words, the ruach has to do with the heart. Ruach has to do with the heart because that's where the yetzer is. Yeah, yetzer lev ha'odam rami ne'urav. The yetzer is in the heart. Heart has to do not with thought, but with feelings. Feelings is yetzer hara. Could be yetzer tov. But if you only go by feelings, you only go by regesh, going to end up very, very bad. Yetzer is mitzamtzem you. The yetzer, as I said before, it's in the heart, and that is the ruach. The ruach is where the wind blows. Yeah, yetzer tov this way, yetzer hara the other way. This is the lave. This is the place related to. That's not what the ruach is, of course. In that piece over here, that's what it's related to the ruach. And by the way, animals have that too, because animals have yetzer. Because we saw in the Bekama, we're learning the Bekama and Yomi that Yitzhar Nogach has yetzer hara. Now the lower part is the nefesh. The nefesh, it says the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, that all these parts of the neshama, speaking of tzinoros, these parts of the neshama are all one inserted inside the other. Yeah, imagine yourself a pipe that has many different, segments. So it's one is coming down from the other. Why? Because the lowest part, called nefesh, is actually the life force. Nefesh is the lowest one. Nefesh is something which I think even the most skeptical person, even the guy, would know. Nefesh is the life force that we have inside of us. That's what makes us move around. That is nefesh. Nefesh is the lowest part. Nefesh is the part that also gets most affected by Averos. That's why in Chumash Vayikra we're doing now Nefesh Kitecheta. You have to bring kapara for the nefesh, dam hu nefesh, as we discussed another time. In other words, the nefesh is the part that is really down there with all the dirt. That's where the nefesh is. Yeah, because the neshama is so high, the neshama wouldn't be able to exist in this world. Yeah, the neshama, or even the neshama is so high, the neshama in this world is, you can't step barefoot inside, the sewage. Yeah, so for that, you need something lower and lower and lower. You have the nefesh. The nefesh is the tough guy. The nefesh is the one which is the lowest. And this is something already related to the goof. Now we can understand. Let's start with Loika Neshama, and then we'll go to the entire davening. We tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu, something very inspiring. Lokai Neshama Shenasata Bi. And now we talk about Neshama in general. Neshama is also the general name. Neshama is also the name of the one in the Beit. Basically, like New York. Yeah, it's a city and a state. Yeah, so basically we have other places like that in America. I don't think so. Yeah, so then we have the same idea. Neshama. Neshama shenasata be neshama in general. We thank Hashem for giving us a neshama. Tehoirahi, the part that is way above us will always remain taller, and we thank Hashem for that. Thank you for creating me in such a way that even if I sin, chas v'shalom, to no end, the very upper part, imagine yourself something above the head. I don't know, that I've never seen anywhere, so I really don't dare saying it. I've been saying too much as it is. But there is a Gemara about Nosson Tzitzisa that he had like a flame over his head. So maybe that's what it means. Yeah, I did see in one of the Svarim, they said that part is kilo above us. Yeah, the halo. Maybe that's makor for the halo. Yeah. So Lamaisa, there's that part which will always remain tahar, and we thank Hashem for that. Tehoirahi atah b'roso. You created it to the level of Bria. You also, with your graciousness, with your goodness, you brought it in my mind. I now wake up and my neshama is in my mind, and that's a neshama which only wants to do good. Then, you now made it even narrower and more mitzumtzam and more tsar and in my heart, or related to the heart, and he brought me the Yetzer Tov and the option to do Yetzer Hora too, or follow it. Nefachto bi. Then you blew it in me. The nefesh is in the, excuse the language, kishkes. The nefesh is what makes us move, and we thank Hashem for that too. So now we understand, maybe for the first time, or maybe not for the first time, I don't know what you know, but now we have a much, much deeper understanding of what we say when we say Lokai Neshama. We say Tehoira, Peraso, Yitzarta, Nefachto. Boom, 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 boom. We thank Hashem for each and every part of the Neshama when we wake up. Now, now we talk about the past, future, and present. That's all different story. We thank Hashem for Mishamru B'Kirbi. I saw in Aromim Chalok HaMelech, he brings down from Sfarim that the Neshama doesn't want to stay inside. The Neshama is not so happy to be in this world. The Neshama is spiritual. She wants to go to a much better place. For her, the amusement park is, Elam Haba. So basically, Ato Mishamru B'Kirbi, you maintain the Neshama constantly. You force the Neshama to stay within me, because we still have a lot of work to do here. Now let's go to talk about the order of davening. So first of all, we start with korbanos. We all know that the most important part of tefillah is tefillah, which means anybody here that learned Maseches Brachos or Hilchas Tefillah and Shulchan Aruch knows when the real sources talk about the word tefillah, what do they mean? Shmoneh Esrei. Right? There's Krishma and Tefillah. Tefillah doesn't mean that 40-minute long session we do every morning. It also means that. Tefillah mainly means Shemoneh Esrei. Now, to get to the level of Shemoneh Esrei, you can't jump that high. You can't jump 4 meters, in one go. Maybe some of us can. I can't yet. You have to gradually climb up the ladder until you make it to the Amidah. And that has to do with the 4 worlds that we spoke about, and now you understand, if you pick up the Sephardi Siddur, you know what it says there on top of every page. So we start with korbanos, hopefully, even though I have to admit, I don't always have time, but I always say one piece of korbanos at least. Why? Since I learned this issue, because korbanos are physical. We start with nefesh, the whole of Vayikra, korbanos, we bring something very physical, or between the physical and spiritual is the dam. We bring the dam hu hanefesh, that's a korbanos. We start waking up towards the Kadosh Baruch Hu in our tefillah, starting with nefesh. We are relating to Kadosh Baruch Hu in a, so to speak, physical way, in the lower place where we stand, which is behema. We all have a behema within us. Rabbi Chanan Vasamer brings from the Zohar that we have all the animals within us. That's what Naase Odom. Hashem told, let us make man. Hashem told each and every part of creation, including all the animals, come, let's make man together. All animals are basically combined and fused in the human being, including very bad ones. So we have to look after ourselves. So now we have the korbanos, which is what? Which is the olam ha'asiyah. Then we go up, that's the column over here, going up. Then we have the Psuke de Zimra. Psuke de Zimra is when we sing to Hashem. The singing to Hashem is because the olam of Yetzirah is where the Malachim are. Yetzirah, remember, is one world above the physical. It's pretty physical. There's something defined there. It's Nutzar. There's a product there. There's a Mutzar. Something tzad that's called Malachim. Not that I don't know much about it. That's for sure not. But I do know that singing, just like the Malachim are singing, I think, this is my idea, which I'm not sure if I've seen it inside Mefurash, and that is, when we sing Psuke de Zimra, we have to be happy. He also talks about that, the Sefer. The Simcha Psuke de Zimra is very important, and that is relating to our emotions. We start with the body, which is a korbanos, something physical. We raise it to the heart, that's above the kishke. The heart is where the emotions are. We want our Yetzirah to be blowing, the Ruach should be blown towards the Kadosh Baruch Hu with Simcha, with good emotions. Then we go to an upper world of Bria. Where is the Bria? In the brains. And the brains is where you think and you accept all Malchus Shamayim. Krishma is not such an emotional thing, it's a very logical thing. We realize, and the epitome, the climax of Krishma, that there's nothing in the world besides the Kadosh Baruch Hu. That's a logical declaration. It's also very exciting, maybe, but it's a logical thing. So after we dealt with our body in Korbanos and with our emotions in Psuke de Zimra, we deal with our Machshava, with the Bria, with the Neshama Shebemaychi, and that is in Krishma, we accept all Malchus Shamayim. What happens next? Now, when we dealt with all three levels, now we are ready to be in Olam Atzilus. Unbelievable. How can we be there? That's an ace. Olam Atzilus is so high up there, but that's what happens when you daven Shmoneh Esrei. If you think I'm saying crazy stuff, look all over Shulchan Aruch Mishnah Brura, like a 13 years old. What does it say time and again? When you stand in Shmoneh Esrei, says the Reb Chaim, the Lom Disha Sefer, not Kabbalah, very Litvish Sefer. There's a famous Reb Chaim that says, Reb Chaim Brisker, that says, the whole people over there, that there are two kavanas in Tefillah. One kavanah in Tefillah is Perush Hamilim. When you daven Shmoneh Esrei, you really have to work hard not to space out and think of what you say. But the more important kavanah, says Reb Chaim, I'm talking halacha l'maaseh here. No, halacha l'maaseh. The most important part we should have while you say Shmoneh Esrei, the more important kavanah is to realize that I am facing a Kadosh Baruch Hu, whatever that means. That I'm talking to a Kadosh Baruch Hu face to face. That's the main kavanah. That's Olam Atzilus. Olam Atzilus means we somehow tried or managed to reach a level in which we are up there talking to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Why do you have to be dressed nicely when you daven Shmoneh Esrei? And even if you shouldn't come back to us under lockdown, Corona, and you're in your pajamas. Why can't I daven with my pajamas? I want to feel comfortable with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. He's my best friend. I'll daven with my sloppy pajama with a Mickey Mouse on top. Why can't I do that? No, I don't have Mickey Mouse on pajamas. Whatever, yeah. That's for another time. So then, yeah, why can't we do that? Why do you have to be dressed nicely? Because you're standing in front of Hashem. You have to be dressed and stand and do everything standing in front of Hashem. When you say Shema, you don't talk to Hashem, you talk about Hashem. You talk about Hashem, you're making a logical, you came to a logical conclusion that Hashem is the only one. You're not talking to him. In Shemoneh Esrei, you talk to Hashem in a very, very direct way, more direct than the other brachas. And that is called Olam Atzilus. And that is related to some part of the Neshama, which is even above our brains. It's something supernatural. We can actually daven Shemoneh Esrei. And that has to do with the part of the Neshama called what? Called Chaya. Chaya, by the way, is also called B'dor Chaim, and others Neshama the Neshama. It's the Neshama of the Neshama. It's so high, it's the Neshama of the Neshama. So having said that, we also can understand another important concept of Amen Yesh Merabah. You say Amen Yesh Merabah, and when you say Amen Yesh Merabah, you can be correct. Zal din shel shivim shana. More in Shabbos, I think if you test some of this, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure. Yeah, it says there that if you say Amen Yesh Merabah b'chol koichoi, either it means loudly, loudly, or with kavana. Amen Yesh Merabah, you can break, you can cut off the decree, the gzera of 70 years. If Chas v'Shalom person was meant to live Chas v'Shalom 70 years of misery, you make one stark Amen Yesh Merabah, wow, you won the jackpot. Why is that? What's so important about the words Amen Yesh Merabah? And also, you're not allowed to do anything. You know that Amen Yesh Merabah, by the way, also has a level of bracha. Just like when you make a bracha, like Asher Yotzar, it's halachically forbidden to do anything, to act. You're not allowed to do anything. You're not allowed to, wipe your head while you say Asher Yotzar, or do anything while you say Asher Yotzar, or Shakul Neh B'Dvar. Because so to Amen Yesh Merabah. The Mishnah Berurah says you shouldn't fold your talis while you say Kaddish, or even listen to Kaddish, because when you say Amen Yesh Merabah, you're not allowed to fold your talis when you say Amen Yesh Merabah, because Amen Yesh Merabah is a level of a bracha. What's so important about Amen Yesh Merabah, and what does it mean? But now you know the answer. What does it mean when you say Amen Yesh Merabah Mevorach? Hashem's great name shall be Mevorach Leolam Uleolmei Olmayo. We say it so many times every day. Now we understand what we're saying. Leolam. Let me count. You know that the math is weak. Everybody knows that's a very well-known secret. It's supposed to the Mickey Mouse. It's a hidden secret. My bad math is a known secret. So Amen Yesh Merabah Mevorach Leolam Uleolmei Olmayo. That's 4. Olam, world, Olmei is another 2, Olmayo is another one, right? So, first of all, what are the 4 worlds? We know what they are. We don't know what they are. We don't really know what they are, but we have a definition. We have some kind of taste of what these 4 worlds are. We have the Atzilus, the upper world, the Hashem is Atzil, high up there, nothing there. Ayin, just HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, there's no other reality. Yeah, that's like the Atzil over here. Then we have the Bria, then we have the Yetzira, then we have the Asiya, the final touch of now, and things get thicker and thicker and more defined. So now, Amen Yesh Merabah Mevorach Leolam, we say that the Kadosh Baruch Hu shall be Mevorach. Mevorach means trickling down. Like Berecha doesn't just mean the Berecha Tzchiyah, the swimming pool your kids go to swimming. Berecha in the original Mishnah means like a waterfall. Berecha Hashem is Mevorach, Hashem's Hashpo, Hashem's influence, Hashem shall be mitbarech, should go down towards us through all 4 worlds. And we want to feel his presence in this world as if he's up there. We want to be metak in this horrible, at times, Gashmi, Yetzer-filled world and make it be as good as the upper world. We want to be metak in the final touch of the final hand, to be metak in the entire hand, the entire story. That's why it's so beautiful, by the way, when we say Olam, Olmei, Olmayo. The 2 middle ones are connected. Olmei. Realize? It doesn't say Olam, 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 Olmayo. It says Olam ve'olmei Olmayo. It's 1, 2, and 1. Yeah, the equation is 1 plus 2 plus 1 equals 4. Why 1, 2, 1? Because the 2 middle ones are very connected. The upper world is only Kadosh Baruch Hu. The Olam Asiya is a world where, unfortunately, there could also be atheism. We don't see. The 2 middle worlds are the tzinorot, the pipes. The pipes are in the middle. The pipes go from the source all the way down, are the pipes in the middle, which you should not confuse during davening. These are the pipes, the conduits, the whatever you call it, aqueducts, whatever. Yeah, the things in the middle, those that the hashpok goes through, they are connected because they are the 2 middle ones between the upper one and the lowest one. There's much more to it. And by the way, I'll only say, as an addition, that there's also going down. After Shemoneh Esrei, we don't go home. We still have other parts because we're in such a lofty place like Shemoneh Esrei. We have to have soft landing, not crash landing. So what do we do? So you see it also in the chart over here. Keneged, the Kedusha, we have Kedusha de Sedra. Because one major part of the Shemoneh, of the Krishma, is the Kedusha that we say, the sitting down Kedusha, of Yetzer or Baruch Hashem, yeah, the first block of Krishma, we say Kodesh Kodesh, Keneged that we have Kodesh Kodesh, to respond to that. Shir Shel Yom is Keneged Shir, the singing of the Psuke de Zimra, the one corresponding to that, very nice, is the Shir Shel Yom. And then we have the Ed Kelokeinu, although in Chutzah not everybody says it, but Ed Kelokeinu is from the Torah already. Ed Kelokeinu is an old thing, and Ed Kelokeinu is also to do with Korbanos, it's Ektoris. We started with Korbanos and we finished with Korbanos. And now we're landing and we're good to go. May we be Zoichem, Yirtz Hashem, to feel the Kodesh Baruch Hu's presence in the world. I'm sure there are things I forgot to say, but that's okay. There's much more to it. And again, just a taste. Again, big disclaimer, maybe I got things wrong. Look it up yourselves. You can see it in Orach Chaim, this week's Parsha. When he talks about the Surah of Kohanim, you can see it in Nefesh HaChaim. You have the footnotes over there, Shar Aleph, Perek Yud Gimel. Have a look, see for yourselves. We'll be Zoichet to bring that Tzilus of Kodesh Baruch Hu all the way down to our everyday lives. Thank you very much.